I'm a very visual person, so whenever I do a t-test, I always like to see what it looks like in a bar graph also. So for this, I'm going to show you how to make a bar graph in um, Google Drive. So if we take our data that we collected, and then I made a column for Lois and a column for Peter, and then just so I know where I'm putting things, I put a row that's labeled averages, and we're going to want standard error of the mean error bar, so I'm creating rows. I created a row for that too. Okay, so we want to get the average aggression for Lois. So average. This creates a function that will average all of the numbers, and we want all of the acts of aggression that Lois, the total aggression that Lois did. So that's column C, and we want to average the entire column C. So we're going to do C colon C and close parentheses, and that's just going to select the entire column C. All right, and we want to do the same thing for Peter, and since they're right next to each other, I'm just going to click on the lower right hand corner and then drag over, and that's going to give us um, Peter's average. All right, and then we want to get the standard error of the mean for Lois. So we're going to do equals STDEV for standard deviation. And we want to do that for all of the values in column C. And standard error of the mean is the standard deviation divided by the square root SQRT square root of the number of data in that column. So we can use the function count to count the number of values, count all of the values in column C. All right, that gives us our standard error of the mean, and we can do the same thing to get it because Peter's data is right next to Lois's data. We can just drag over like we did earlier, and there you go. The numbers are changing right now because I created random data. This is your data will be different. All right, so now we want to create a bar graph. So we're gonna highlight Lois and Peter and their averages. All right, and go to Insert, Chart, and we want a column chart. So I call it a bar graph, but they call it a column chart. All right, and we're going to make sure. Okay, so this is one way to check to see where the graph is looking at. Okay, and we want to select charts. So this gives you all the option of the different types of charts you could make. and then go to customize, and we can give our chart a title, or our bar graph a title, and why don't we call it average ag for regression. All right, and then we can change where we put the legend. Right now it's on the right, but we can also put it on the bottom. I think for right now that makes most sense. So Lois is in blue and Peter's in red. All right. And then we can label the different axes. We don't really need a horizontal axis title because we already have the legend for that. And then we can do vertical, as in is measuring aggression. And I always like to have my graph start at 0, so you can see where things are coming from. And then we want our top to be 100 because this is a percentage of aggression. So we could do aggression percentage. All right. All right. So you can also mess with the grid lines, the major and minor grid lines. But the thing that we also need to add are error bars. So you want to select constant error bars, and instead of what they give you, you want to use the standard error of the mean error bars. So I'm moving this out of the way. So for Lois, it's 8 point something. And then for Peter, it's about 7. So we're going to put 8 for Lois, and then change it to Peter, and then add a constant error bar 7. All right, and then we can insert, and then we have a graph. So you can see the error bars and a graph. Since these standard error of the mean error bars don't overlap, that's a visual indication that they are statistically significantly different, but we have to do a t-test to make sure.